how do you find the experimental probability of a simple event? We talked about this with our stations that we did. Experimental probability, you may run out of room. If you do, just continue it up here. It's the probability of an event found by comparing the number of times the event occurs to the total number of trials. So remember, experimental probability is your do it. We're looking at how many times we got what we wanted out of a total number of times attempted. So if you want to make a little note here, what we wanted out of total attempted. So our first example is JT is practicing his batting. The pitcher makes 12 pitches. JT hits 8 of the pitches. What is the experimental probability that JC will hit the next pitch? So what we're looking for is hitting. So the problem says that JT hits 8. So that's our favorable outcome, is 8. Then we need to know our total attempted. So the number of trials is the total attempted, and total attempted is 12 pitches. So the guy threw 12 pitches. So the experimental probability that the next pitch is going to be a hit, we look at what we've already done. And we've already done 8 out of 12. We always simplify. Write that. Simplify. Boom. If we're doing a fraction, always simplify. Or turn it into a decimal, or turn it into a percent. Really just look at what your answers are phrased as, or how your question is asking you to give an answer. The next thing is, be aware that sometimes the question asks for the complement of an event. Complement. That doesn't mean, hey, I like your outfit. That means it is the opposite of what they're asking. It is what is not being talked about. So our example is, Nikos flips a coin 20 times. It lands on tails up 11 times. So what is the experimental probability that the coin will not land tails up on the next toss? Anytime you see that not, box it, underline it, highlight it, do something so you don't miss it. So the experimental probability of what they're talking about is tails. That's 11 out of 20. But the question doesn't ask about tails. It says how many will not be tails. So we look at what it takes. If it's out of 20, what is the rest of that? The rest of that. So we take a whole, or 20 over 20, subtract 11 over 20, and we end up with 9 over 20. So that is the complement to tails up, which would be heads up.